Hey everybody, it's me. I'm still sick. I had to redo the intro for the reasons we had to redo the intro last time. This is probably going to be a constant theme if we keep pre-recording things. But anyway, let me say thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Silver-Eyed Warrior Ash Carlton, Headmaster Frankie, Huntsman Sunny, Huntsman in Training, Emmy Cat and New Recruit, Solly, Jess, Wade, Totally, Rooter, Rage Factor, 13, Flashy, Peter with 2 T's, Panic, and $100 patron Alex Wise. So, we kind of accidentally left Pyrrha alive in our last What If video, but this was a paid video by...
Accidentally, because we always intended to kill her.
This is a video by, that was paid for by, Frankie, and, that's one of our Patreons, and so you guys, should, also become Patreons so you can get your own special video. Anyways, so we're gonna be talking about if Pyrrha was alive. And so first we have to figure out how she was alive. How did she escape Beacon? Well, in my head, I think that her and Cinder, like, came at a draw. You know what I mean? Like, Pyrrha maybe somehow, like, lived to until, like, RWBY got up there. Like, maybe things were a little bit different, so, like, in the one, infinite universes with infinite possibilities, like, RWBY got up, like, a second before Pyrrha actually got her heart cut out.
Cinder was having just a really off day.
I know. And then RWBY did the silver eyes and Pyrrha was fine. And that froze Cinder and whatever happened. So now... Juniper would still be Juniper, just with Pyrrha, with RWBY coming along with them to help, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So they would all go and do the thing, and, yeah, I can't think about how this would change the series that much, which is why we didn't have to do a big write-up like last time. Like, there's not really a butterfly effect here, because, everybody still, Pyrrha's death doesn't affect... Blake leaving or Yang getting her arm cut off, like all of that stuff.
Well, I feel like these are certain things that would happen. That I feel like if Pyrrha somehow just never fought Cinder on top of that
Not
roof.
that they never fought Cinder.
Because here's the thing, I feel like, well, because Cinder would have killed Pyrrha. So I feel like...
I know, but I'm saying, like, at the last second, RWBY came up and...
Yeah, but I also feel that, like, RWBY only got Silver Eyes in that moment because she saw... Pyrrha died.
What if she thought Pyrrha was dead and Pyrrha was okay?
Oh, that's kind of... Okay, so fair enough. All I'm saying is that if that was the case, that then,
Like, what if Pyrrha just looked really fucked up? But she was okay. Like, they found out she was okay after.
I don't know.
RWBY wakes up in her room with the silver eyes and Juniper's standing there and Pyrrha's like, hello again. And RWBY's like, what the fuck? And then you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, just a death cop-out. For sure.
Okay.
Something like that.
I just feel like Cinder's not one to leave the job half done.
Well,
I believe in her.
But she would have already had the Fall Maiden power. She didn't need to kill Pyrrha.
Fair
like,
enough.
killing Pyrrha was just, like, something on her to-do list, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I guess I'll be evil today.
Well, here's one thing I'd be very happy about.
But can we go back to, like, how this would affect the rest of the series before you start... So they would all go together. They would probably still defeat the ghost thingy. John wouldn't have his new thingy, though, because Pyrrha, like, that came from Pyrrha's armor and shit. So, yeah, that's awkward, too. How did they get that? So, Jean wouldn't have a new weapon. I don't give a shit about John. That's okay.
Arcos would have...
Instead of Jean training with a computer, he would probably be training with the real Pyrrha.
And Arcos would still be... Would they be in a relationship, or do you
After
think that was like a one-time thing?
That she kissed him? I think she kissed him because she thought they were gonna die. And so it'd be really awkward after,
like
but it wouldn't be... I feel like they would be in a weird sort of stage of their relationship where they can't talk about it because, like, they don't have time right now, but at the same time they both know that they're, like, in love with each other, and that's awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I feel like that would go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're, like, on our last legs with this wave here.
9 out of 10. You're close to the end. Yeah, 9 out of 10, close to the end.
Anyway, so I feel like... Oh, no, don't attack my turret. Anyways, so I feel like that would be something that be a little bit different. Like there'd be, I wouldn't say a romantic subplot, but it'd be kind of something that's there. Like RWBY would wake up in the middle of the night and they're training and they're kind of being awkward and like, you know, like, Pyrrha, why did you, and then Pyrrha's like, no, Jean, we can't talk about this right now, we're on a mission, you know, like, I thought I had,
so
like,
would it be an awkward, stumbling romance?
Yeah.
I feel like
that.
I feel like it would be awkward, but it wouldn't be stumbling. I feel
Why?
like I feel like they would have, like, their intentions would be, I feel like
their intentions would be clear, but I feel like that doesn't help. I feel like it'd still be awkward.
It would still be awkward, but some stumbling implies that they're, like, they don't,
Whatever.
I feel like they'd both be clear to each other that, like, look, I almost died.
What about the fight against Tyrion, though? Like, would they be able to all get him together, or do you think that wouldn't make any difference?
I mean, Pyrrha is probably, out of Team RWBY and Juniper, the best fighter.
And Tyrion's things are also made out of metal, remember?
Oh, yeah, that would probably
So that
really
would
help.
probably
Yeah,
be
so
okay.
a crow would probably be a lot better off.
But
you know?
do you think that they would have still cut off his tail and all that stuff would have happened? Because I don't think so. I feel like they would have just scared him away.
Not even, I feel like they just would have.
Would
just
they have
maimed
killed him?
Maybe.
Would they?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel like they would either injure him and like try to kidnap him to get information.
Well,
or
I think
something.
they would either kill him or seriously injure him, which they kind of did already.
But I feel like they wouldn't cut the tail off. I feel like they would have to injure him in another way.
Maybe.
Yeah. But do you really think he'd be dead?
He'd be really messed up.
That would change things, dead. I feel like Salem would get mad at Cinder. Because Cinder kind of tried to kill her and then failed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Team Juniper plus Crow and RWBY would be a lot better off. Like, they
I
wouldn't
feel
be
like-
as hurt, and Crow probably wouldn't have got
But if
stabbed.
Tyrion died, what I'm saying is if Tyrion was dead, that
Mm-hmm.
would fuck everything up because Salem would be really mad at Cinder. She would be like, you were supposed to kill her and you failed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would be like that.
Yeah.
But maybe he's just messed up and the same thing happens like before,
I
right?
think the messed up is more likely, because he seemed pretty okay to retreat, you know?
Anyway, other than that, though, the stuff with Ren's family, they did split up, but I feel like Pyrrha would just go with Sean, and then RWBY would kind of be the third wheel, which could be awkward.
I think the battle versus... Do you think Crow would have gotten injured?
I don't think so. I think Crow would have been okay.
So I think the battle against the Nuktuk would have gotten a lot better. There would have been a lot less tension.
Yeah.
I feel like they would have just made him because if it was, you know, they would still want it to be tense, so they would still make, you know, they would just make Crone and Nuktuk like a little bit stronger, you know what I mean?
Maybe. Well, I'm
keep the
saying
tension.
that, like,
'Cause
without
those-
the writers changing things to make up for these...
Because those last,
Points.
like, scenes were tense. Like,
I
I was
feel like-
pretty sure
I
people
feel
were
like
gonna
with
die.
Crow, though, like, would Crow even follow them with Pyrrha around?
Oh,
like, she
no.
would be she would be, like, she's pretty strong, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but she still kind of lost to Cinder.
I
so-
guess.
and,
I don't
like-
know if he would follow her, though. Like, why
No,
would
I
he be
think they
so
would.
concerned?
I think they would.
Also, that conversation when they're talking about that thing with Pyrrha would have gone way differently. Because Jean got salty, and that was part of the problem, right? That he got mad at Crow for letting Pyrrha apparently, like, not give her a choice or anything, but Pyrrha would be there to kind of testify that it was
Yeah.
her choice. He probably wouldn't be angry about it to begin with, though, because she didn't die. Like, I feel like the only reason why Jean was mad about that was because it resulted in her death, and if she got the Fall Maiden powers, he'd be like, oh, you know, everything's okay. Like, I got my girlfriend, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like that would be something that happened, too. I think with Nuk Nuk, though, the thing is that Pyrrha is a skilled fighter, but let's just take Crow out of the equation here for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
even with Pyrrha, like, it had nothing to do with their strength. It was all about the strategy that they had as well. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know if it would be that different, because it wasn't about brute strength, because RWBY is pretty strong, too, you know what I mean? Like,
Numbers and skill helps, you know?
Yeah, but I'm saying that it was all about the strategy that they had and they worked together. Because, like, we haven't seen RWBY do that pedal shit ever again, because it's kind of overpowered, you know what I mean? And so she hasn't done it recently. So she probably would have been able to, like, suck that Nuk Nuk up in a vortex or something, like she did to the gorilla thing in the trailer. Like, she never used that, so I don't know why they used that as footage for the trailer. Like, that really never happened again, other than with the Geist. But
Although it did look pretty cool.
It did, but I'm saying that it wasn't about strength. Like, RWBY probably could have done it. It was about the fact that Jean was able to organize everyone, and so I don't feel like the fight would have been that different. Except, I don't know if that scene with, like, Ren slapping Nora would happen. Wait, Nora slapping Ren would happen? Like, I don't know if things would be that tense. Like, they would have to think of another way for Nora to kind of slap the sense out of him.
That's kind of like what I was talking about earlier, that, like, even if they had Pyrrha still live, like, they would still want tensity. So I feel like they would just make the fight with Tyrion and the fight with the Nuketown
But
harder,
remember,
you know
we're not saying that the writers are changing anything to account for this. So, like, if it was in the show, Miles and Carrie probably would have dealt with that. But I'm saying that if this is its own universe, then nothing magically changes to account for strength in numbers, you know? Other things, though, I don't really know. I don't think their mission would be any different, but we know...
Arcos would be cute.
We know that Crow's looking for the Spring Maiden, right? But that has really nothing to do with Pyrrha. And
Pyrrha would get the chance to be the Fall Maiden again, possibly later on in the show.
Yeah, that would be interesting too. If
maybe
Cinder dies,
maybe
right?
Pyrrha kills Cinder and takes the power later on.
Well, that's too far. We have to focus on Volume 4. As for everything else, I don't feel like Pyrrha being alive would really change that much. Which is kind of why it's better off that she's dead. I know that's not very nice, but the thing is that if you have characters that can fulfill the exact same role or the story doesn't change significantly with them in it, then you're better off just making the same character into one person. You know what I mean? And, like, I think that Pyrrha's role was taken up by RWBY to some extent. Within Team Juniper, not within the story, obviously, because RWBY's always kind of been the main character. But I feel like, as far as team dynamic goes, Pyrrha would have kind of just been sort of redundant, almost. Like, that it feels like there were suddenly too many of them to deal with, and some of them serve the same function. And again, if you have too many characters that are serving the exact same function, like, it's nice to have characters to make the environment feel real and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then you start getting to, when it's a story, like, with books you don't really have to worry about making an environment feel real, right? But when it's a show, too many characters can sometimes be a bad thing.
I mean, I think there's a less visceral element. You still have to make things feel realistic.
Yeah. But I feel like RWBY is on the verge of having too many things to deal with, character-wise. Because Game of Thrones, I feel, does it really well. Like, they have a lot of characters, but not all of them are significant. Like, they just kind of, they're named and they sort of do stuff, and that's okay. But here, they're kind of trying to make every character a significant person, like, giving them their own, like, special semblance and, like, their special color. Like, and not that that's bad, but it's almost like they're trying to make every character of equal importance, whereas shows like Game of Thrones, you have people that are just made to die. You know what I mean? Or characters that are not, that serve a certain purpose to help another character's arc. But with Pyrrha, it's that she was made out to be really important, and then she died. You understand what I'm saying, Hunter? Like, too many cooks in the kitchen, but it's not the writers, it's the characters that are the problem here. But yeah, I don't know. We kind of get into that problem with Team Sun. I'm sure we'll do a video on my actual Amino post in the future about why Velvet should be replaced with Sun instead of just mentioning it over the course of many videos. But again, if there's characters that can take up the same role, then they shouldn't be there. And so I'm sorry for Pyrrha, but like, she had a purpose that was written in the story, and unless they changed that purpose, they wouldn't be able to fit her in well, because her purpose from the beginning was to die. And to trigger Ruby's powers, and to show Ozpin's failure and all that stuff. And I'm sorry if that's a like, yeah, the volume wouldn't really change, and so I think that's much done for us unless you want to say anything else, or are you good?
No, I'm good, yeah.
Alright guys, so thank you to our patrons over on Patreon. Thank you, Headmaster Frankie, for purchasing this video. I feel weird saying that all the time. And to redo the intro, which also means that I have to redo the outro. So thank you again to Silver-Eyed Warrior, Ash Carlton, Headmaster Frankie, Huntsman Sunny, Huntsman in Training, Amy Kenna, New Recruit, Solly, Wade, Jess, Totally, Rooter, Rage Factor 13, Flashy, Peter with 2 T's, Panic, and $100 patron Alex Wise. So yeah guys, I will see you later. Bye!